Lally ho, and welcome to Sharlayan Dropouts, a good Final Fantasy XIV podcast for bad academics. I am your host, Archon Victor Hunter. And with me, as always, the other member of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, Nadia Oxford. How the hell are you, Nadia?
Hello, Victor. How do you suppose the students in Sharlayan, how do you suppose they dry their clothes when they're, doing the laundry on off day? They use
uh,
magic?
yes, in the pre-show, I was moving my laundry over with expert timing. And, oh gosh, yeah, we haven't. What are the appliances we know of that for sure exist in the world of Final Fantasy XIV? We've got kettles.
Got
Everyone
kettles.
knows
I think I have a sink.
there are sinks. Famously, no toilets.
No toilets
Um,
still.
yeah, appliances. There's got to be like, I'm sure Garlemald has, toasters and things like
Oh, they
that.
gotta.
I would be very surprised if they don't have washers and dryers. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because Garlemald, you can't dry anything outside. It's just gonna turn stiff as a board.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder. I'm sure there has to be somewhere out there that isn't like a housing item, but someone has strung up laundry somewhere. I know this is out there in the world. I know there's
It's
a
another thing
spot
to
where
look
you can
out
see.
for.
Yeah. But we're not here to talk about laundry, Nadia. We're here to talk about
Ah,
mounts. That's where the Mountie joke came from.
right.
And we're
That makes
Canadian.
sense. But I got wrapped up in laundry, so to speak.
You always get wrapped up in laundry. You're like a metaphorical. Uh, no, you don't wrap people up in laundry to make them a mummy. You wrap them up in toilet paper.
Yes.
Did you ever play in laundry as a kid?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Uh, this is a laundry tangent, but uh, my mom always tells this story because she likes to think it's how she knew that her son was a little different. Maybe maybe his brain worked a little different. Because when I was little, she would be sorting the laundry into piles, and I would go to the pile and I would take a piece of laundry off the top of the pile, put it somewhere, and I'd take the next piece of laundry and I'd take it off and I'd put it on this other pile. And I'd keep doing that until I had eliminated this first pile of laundry. And I'd be like, oh, good. Job well done. Great job, 2-year-old Victor or whatever. And then I'd turn around and look, and I'd see that I had created an additional pile of laundry. And I had to eliminate that somehow. So I'd just keep over and over this Sisyphean task of,
Your brain blue screened. It
yeah,
got
yeah,
caught in an infinite loop.
yeah. I was working on my object permanence there.
It's like when you fall for I got your nose.
Yeah, yeah. But we're here to talk. Look, you derailed me again. We're not
I'm
talking about
sorry.
laundry. Look, we all love laundry. This is true. Final Fantasy XIV players, you all love laundry. We get it. Enough about
Sure do.
laundry. Time to talking about mounts. Um, we're going to talk our top 10 mounts. Nadia and I have both picked 5 mounts that we think rock. We're going to talk about what makes a good mount, what we look for in a mount, whether we even pursue mounts, whether that is the kind of carrot we like on the end of our proverbial stick. But before that, let's talk a little, generally speaking, what have you been up to in game, Nadia?
Well, I have been running the Arcadian just to kind of get some more gear,
Mm, mm-hmm.
and I've haven't gotten all the gear yet, but I'm getting there. I
Sure.
got the glasses. The
Nice. I don't think at this point in time it's actually possible to have gotten all the gear. What with the weekly
No, oh, you're right.
resets.
Yeah, because it resets and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just reset. Today's Tuesday. Yeah, so it
Today's
reset
Tuesday.
today.
Yeah, yeah.
Today is Tuesday. Yeah, there you
Um,
go. But
is
yeah, I got the glasses, which I was very pleased with myself,
nice.
and I took a picture for my Blue Sky account of my Warrior
Really?
of Light just posing uh with his back against the skyline. It looks pretty cool
I'm
actually.
surprised I have not seen this. I
Oh
usually
my gosh.
those are the sorts of things that usually come across my feed.
You would
Um,
think so.
yeah, yeah. Is that usually a loop you get into? Normal raid? Is that how you eye level up, or is there specifically this time cosmetically? Do you like the gear?
It depends. I liked this trial, so that's why I
Mm,
like doing it.
mm-hmm.
But in a lot of cases, I actually tend to run dungeons just
Sure,
with a the NPC party,
sure, yeah,
and that tends to just like get you the gear you need, even like a little bit of the gear that you need to kind of get yourself up there.
yeah, yeah. What's the underkeep right now? Is sort
Underkeep,
of
yeah. So
our
I ran that a few times.
yeah, yeah. No, easy way to level up and I've been going back and leveling up my trusts, which is quite the thing. Um, but it's sort of feeding back into. I think I maybe mentioned this before. I've been very unlucky with triple triad drops in
Oh,
Dawn Trail.
so has Eric, I
Uh,
think.
I have not had a single triple triad card drop from any Dawn Trail dungeons or trials. Um,
Really?
it also took me maybe 15 runs of Juno before I got my Shadow Lord card. I rolled high enough on it. I have been rolling terribly on everything this entire
Ah,
expansion.
oh
Uh,
no.
it's been rough.
Mercury's in retrograde. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. I'll survive. Um, what else have I been doing?
DNK dude says, oh, go ahead.
Oh no. Go for it.
Trust can be so tedious. I'm one a day more or less. I'm
Oh,
at one a day more or
wow.
less.
Yeah, I mean, if I have nothing to do and I want to just put a podcast on and want to see if I can get a card to drop, I'll run one or two, but it's not something I make part of my usual routine. But unlocking those costumes is a nice draw. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hatching Tide 2025. Have you run the Easter event?
Oh, I keep forgetting about that. I haven't run it this year.
Ah,
But it looks Hatching Tide's always cute.
Hatching Tide's always cute. We've got one of the Aliapos. Jilly Aliapo is our usual Hatching Tide NPC. She's back.
Mm-hmm.
She's been having strange visions of the future for many, many years, and this year is no different.
Oh.
It's a cute little story. Over the years, I've been running seasonal events for well over a decade, and I don't want to say they've lost some of their charm or luster, because I still think they're delightful. The actual events themselves have kind of taken a back seat for me to the joy of wandering around the city states and finding NPCs who are there for the event, like old
Mm-hmm.
characters who are just sort of scattered around the map,
Yeah,
hanging
I
out,
like
doing
seeing that.
stuff. And this year, I thought it was very, very cute because the reward is an egg umbrella.
Ha.
Um, if you look around in Gridania, you can find Alpha and Omega,
Aw,
and they are relaxing under one of the umbrellas is leaning over, and Omega is chilling out underneath it, and it's very cute.
that
That's
is cute.
that's the little scavenger hunt for NPCs and finding out because they'll usually have a unique dialogue bubble or something, and I think those are fun because those disappear
Yeah, those are.
forever, and they sometimes have really cute interactions, especially around Valention's Day.
Mm-hmm.
There's always cute stuff. Fortuno and Emeliance are always doing something adorable. Uh,
Yeah.
and the so the art for this year's Hatching Tide. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
It has established a trend for this year's seasonal events that began with Valention's Day, or Little Lady's Day, actually,
Mm-hmm.
um, of featuring the Scions in the Realm Reborn era. So
Right,
for
I've
Little
noticed.
Ladies' Day, we had Thancred giving a gift to Minfilia, and for Hatching Tide, we have Papalimo and Ida running through the streets of Gridania, breaking my heart.
Yeah.
Just I love some ARR acknowledgement, and these all of these illustrations have been very, very sweet so far. I think it's very,
It is very nice. I think it is very sweet for them to go back and kind of acknowledge the originals.
yeah, it's cute. What else have I been doing? Oh, listeners over on the Discord, which you can get access to for only $1 at patreon.com/bloodgodpod.
What a deal.
We got together over the weekend. I got my Valagarmanda EX clear, which was very, very fun.
Congratulations.
It was so it's just because of my schedule. It has been a very, very, very long time since I've been able to run EX and Savage stuff.
Right.
Savage, it's been ages. EX, not as long, but I miss it. Oh, I miss it so much. And we have such an amazing group. Everyone's out there, usually trying to farm for their mounts. But I don't know. Valagarmanda was really, really fun. It was quite easy to learn. I knew nothing of it going in, and I don't know. It just mechanically it feels like they've really kind of nailed the difficulty of an early expansion extreme.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like it was kind of right on the money. And then we hopped over to the Minstrel's Ballad, Sven's Burden. Most of us going in blind. And holy crap, I miss going in blind to an extreme. Everybody just kind of figuring it out. It's forward
Everyone
and
just
back.
wipes
Yeah, it's
again and
it's
again and again.
forward and back and forward and back and forward and back and one step forward,
One step
and
forward.
it feels great. I just love it. God, I wish my schedule could facilitate it a little bit more. It's so much fun. And I
Yeah,
love that fight. I love the
I've been
music
hearing
in
a
that
lot of
fight.
great stuff about like the extremes and just the harder
Yeah.
game, the post game stuff this time around.
I think in general, a lot of people are pretty positive on the difficulty and the mechanics that have been introduced in Dawn Trail. It's kind of it's hitting pretty good for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get on to the main topic. We're talking my favorite mounts. I try. There's a my favorite murder pun in here that isn't my favorite mounter because I can't
I was thinking
that
like
can't fly.
My Little Ponies,
hmm. If you can make the pun work, go for it.
which I can't. I'd have to work on it for a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. Mounts. Nadia, what is your relationship with mounts?
Just as long as I have played games, I have just loved like any game that gives you a chance to jump onto a mount. Like
Sure.
you didn't get too many NES games like that. Like you did get like Little Nemo was one example.
Oh,
Actually, you get
sure.
like I don't know if you could get like a mount or if you wore a suit, but either way, it was kind of the same thing. But then more in like Donkey Kong, like in 16-bit games, like yeah, Yoshi, you had like the Donkey Kong Country
Hmm.
animals.
Hmm.
Like Rambi was always awesome. I just
Yeah.
love riding mounts. I like especially the fact that given how gorgeous some of Final Fantasy XIV's maps are to ride around, just to kind of
Yeah.
vibe,
Yeah.
it always pays to have a good mount, with you. So yeah, I've always just loved riding on things. I am a horse girl who was born in a city, so I do the best I can.
Yeah. Would you, if we go back in time, would we say that like some of the vehicles and things that you get in say FF4 or 7 or do those count as mounts? I mean, the Chocobo really is just sort of a vehicle of sorts, right? Like do we say that the hovercraft counts as a mount? Are
Is it like
airships mounts?
I the thing I wonder is like, okay, I feel like mount is maybe more appropriate for something that's living, whereas a vehicle is a vehicle. Like as you said, I think Cloud's bike is a vehicle,
But
but it's a mount in Final
it's a mount.
Fantasy 14.
we've got a lot of vehicles in this here list of mounts. So
That's
I don't know.
true.
The line gets blurred. I've
The
also
line
been
does get
playing
blurred.
a lot of Xenoblade X lately, and gosh, the Skell might as well be the best mount or vehicle in video games.
Man, imagine if they did a crossover with Xenoblade and got some
Uh,
skills into Final Fantasy 14. That'd be
do it.
something else.
When we get
Do it.
14 on the Switch 2, let's see a
Oh, that's
collab.
gonna happen. It's gotta happen.
In terms of 14, do you collect mounts? Is it something that you pursue?
Yes, I'm not like an extremely serious mount collector,
Hmm.
but I do go after mounts. Like if I get one, if I see one and someone has a cooler mount than me, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get that mount. And I have done like pretty long campaigns just to get a mount. So if I am driven, I will do it.
What's what's the like most you'll go out of your way? What is the ratio of like carrot to stick? Uh,
Oh,
how
I see.
how long can the stick be before you just want that carrot? Like what are the extremes you will go to?
Well, in the case of one mount I'll get into, like I
Mm-hmm.
had to farm like hunt marks, which had to be exchanged for like tomes of some kind,
Mm-hmm.
which had to be exchanged after you got like a multitude of these stupid books or whatever to someone else who gave me the mount. So that was a collectathon that lasted weeks. Like
Sure.
I will like be patient if I need to be,
Yeah.
but if I have a massive challenge to get something
Yeah.
like that requires like a really hard trial, I'm most liable to chicken out, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah. So you're more interested in the farm than
Hmm.
the difficulty.
Yeah, I'll grind, but I won't bang my head against a wall.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. What are so mounts in 14 are interesting because you have a lot of different kinds of players. Um, I know that a lot of people go for a sense of verisimilitude or canonicity, if you will,
Hmm.
lore appropriateness. So there are some people who prefer to just use a chocobo or can explain in their character's backstory why they might have another animal that they ride or a piece of magitech they salvaged from a Garlean or something like that. Um, what what are the things that you look for in a mount? Like, what is appealing about a mount to you? Do you care about how it fits in the world, or if you're in a group of people and all of a sudden they all turn into Phoenix, that that could break a sense of immersion, especially if you're
Yeah.
say in an RP group or something like that. Does any of that stuff bother you, or are you just in it to find something that looks cool?
Yes and no. I always like dragon mounts first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Like they've always been my favorite. My first character, my first class was Dragoon, so I
Mhm.
always thought it was appropriate to get a dragon mount as fast as possible. But then, of course, I played other stuff too, so I kind of varied up the mounts accordingly. Um, I prefer animal-based mounts,
Mhm.
especially like winged mounts. But I will go after a vehicle if I think it looks cool. And I mean, to be honest, like even if I go after a vehicle, it kind of fits in the canon of my character because he would ride like a dusty old motorcycle or whatever, or
Sure.
maybe a tractor for the hell of it. But
Right.
he's not exactly very serious about life.
With that, let's get into it. Give me we'll just go back and forth with our picks. I don't know about you, but mine are in not really any particular order. Actually, that's not true.
Not.
These are in an order, but it doesn't
Uh-oh.
matter that much. Um, give
Okay.
me give me your first pick.
Okay, I think my first pick is one I just recently talked about a second ago was Wyvern.
Mhm.
Because that was the one I had to farm the marks for and
Yeah,
then exchange for tomes and then give to someone in the last night or whatever it was.
the
And
Forgotten Night, I believe.
the Forgotten Night, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's clan marks,
And
yeah, from hunts.
the clan marks, that's it, yes. And
Yeah.
that took ages because you can only get a certain amount every week, I think. Or you have like your hunts every week and you get your marks and
Mhm.
you exchange them, and that's all you get for the week, and you got to wait till things reset. So I just kind of persevered,
Mhm.
and I got my mount. And actually, if you are a an old time Axe of the Blood God listener, when I first started playing the game, like you could probably hear me talking to Kat about how I was grinding for this mount, and I'd kind of update her every week, and she was like, "That's so stupid. Grinding is so stupid." And I feel like I want the mount, and I kind of named him Grindy just
Sure.
just because of that.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah, shout
well,
out to Grindy. Grindy is the reason I like a wyvern mount is because you don't see it around very often. That's a thing I like to have about a mount
mhm.
is you don't. I like to use mounts that you don't see that often. Barring my Chocobo, of course, my Chocobo is fine, but yeah,
Yeah, that's something I want to get into about the appeal of certain mounts, and what I mostly have on my list is the the grind is part of it, because the grind means that fewer people are going to have it. It is a mark of
exactly.
your dedication to getting this thing. You set it as your
Yeah,
goal and you pursue it to the ends of the earth, and then you have it's it's like walking around with an ultimate weapon, or some fancy armor. Like, so much of playing an MMO is also showing off what kinds of things you like to pursue. The way your character
hmm
presents says a lot about you aesthetically and as a player, and what sort of things you like to do in the game. So, no, I think yeah, it's a grind, but no one's pointing a gun at your head saying you have to do this. You're choosing
right.
to say, yeah, that's a thing I would like, and I understand the steps that are necessary to getting it.
Yeah, because again, you just don't see it that often,
Yeah.
and I like to use, like, of course, every expansion gives you a mount by default. And I like to kind of use that mount for a while, but then everyone else starts using it once everyone starts catching up to you. So you're like, I don't
Mm.
care about this anymore.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's it.
totally. It's one
Yeah.
of the things. Maybe we'll talk about this a little bit later. Yeah, we'll save that for later. I want to talk about my first pick, unless you have more to
All
say
right.
about your wyvern.
No, I'm good about my Grindy's a good boy.
I'm just gonna say straight up, love a company chocobo. Um,
Can't go
eh,
wrong.
yeah, if I want to take photos that feel appropriate and in world, and feel like they are part of the story that I have written in my head, absolutely, I'm riding my chocobo. Between changing the colors and customizing with barding, I think the chocobos have a ton of appeal, and the fact that you can name them. I do wish they'd let you give nicknames to things like mounts and minions. I think that would be really
Yes,
nice.
that'd be
Um,
nice.
but yeah, the company chocobo just feels like an extension of your character. It's your companion character. He can fight alongside you, for God's sake.
Mine's
Yeah,
completely leveled up. I broke its limits,
yeah.
and I leveled it up again. What color is yours?
I've got I think it's the ice blue.
Ooh, pretty.
I
Oh, I think I've
love it.
seen yours. It's like the Shiva barding, right? Or last time I
Uh,
saw it, it had
I
Shiva barding.
usually put it in the Save the Queen barding.
That's what I'm
From
thinking of,
Nausea.
right?
Yeah,
Spiky.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's the Chocobo. The dream has always been for Final Fantasy fans to be able to raise your own Chocobo and name it and have it a party member and make it like a pet. Um, and I think they've kind of succeeded in that. I would honestly
Yeah.
like to see Chocobo stuff expanded a little bit.
I would love to see that.
When I get the chance, way back in during Heavensward patches, they announced that we'd be able to take our Chocobo companions into dungeons with us,
Oh my goodness.
uh,
Oh,
and they would fight
like
alongside us, and then it was never mentioned again. Because they
that,
realized,
which
uh,
means we tried it, but it really didn't work
yeah,
out.
it must have broken something real bad. Because they were even showing off like the four player characters can bring their four chocobos, and you
Oh
can
my
run the
gosh,
dungeon with your chocobos. Um,
that's amazing.
so who knows what that would have done to the balance of boss fights and things like that.
I was
I
gonna
feel like,
say I could see how that
yeah.
would break everything.
But
It'd be fun though.
yeah, right. There was a world.
Shout out to Jollibee. That's my boy.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out to Nongman. Uh,
No,
and I have the real Nongman right here too. You have a little
ah,
nap.
kitty cat.
You hate it when Dad talks too much? Yeah. Um. All right. Second pick. Go for it.
Oh, okay. Let me see. I pick. I'm gonna pronounce her name El Tool, the El Tu, the
El
dragon.
two.
El To. Yeah,
Yeah.
sh- little red dragon. She is part of the Crafter's Quest in the Firmament.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I really like about Heaven's Word, or the post-Dragon Song War stuff, is that you kind of see that adults, dragons, and humans don't trust each other still,
Mm-hmm.
but the kids and the little dragons become friends instantly. And this is one thing that kind of happened is like this little dragon wants to know more about humans, and she learns how to use her hands to craft. And
Yeah.
you actually learn a bit about dragon physiology because she grows up, and dragons apparently they are transformative species. Like
Yeah.
they become what they need to be. So
Yeah.
she has human hands in a way, and it's kind of creepy, but she's great. She has a little beret also because her human friend gave her a little hat. And
Yeah.
she still loves it, but she's a bit too big for it, so she kind of hangs it on her horn. I love her.
Yeah.
From Custom
You.
Deliveries. That's right. It was Custom Deliveries.
Yeah. Custom deliveries. Is that the storyline with the woman whose husband is part
Oh,
dragon?
the monster? No. Oh, shoot. I know exactly what you're talking about because everyone looked at that and said, "Yeah, that's someone's fetish." But
where
I.
eventually the wife is like, "Oh darn. Oh
Oh
yeah, I
no!
guess I have to live with this big scary looking beast man." Ah, shucks.
Oh shucks. What a life.
Uh, yeah.
Oh, NK2 says, "Yup." Okay, so that was a fun set of events,
Yeah.
I have to say.
Yeah.
And I think the payoff was really good.
Yeah. And like you say, the dragon lore about how they are an adaptive species
Hmm.
is really fun. They show off a lot of that in the Encyclopedia Eorzea. They show,
Oh,
the
cool. I gotta
many
get that.
different species of dragon and their different physiologies. Um and I just like the custom deliveries. I think it's a perfectly good little system. I mean, obviously, Elto, you can't dress up, which is
No,
too bad.
unfortunately.
Even, I don't know, swapping out her hat or something would be fun, but I understand why she's not one of the characters you can glamour.
It doesn't really fit the model for that.
Yeah, yeah. Um, my second pick. I love her. She's she's everyone's favorite gun fairy, Spectral Statusy.
Gun
Um,
Fairy.
I love Alo Alo as a variant dungeon. I think it was incredible. I love the music. I think all the boss fights are fun. I had so much fun figuring out all the puzzles in that damn
Hmm.
dungeon. Uh, I don't know. Variant dungeons are kind of my fave. I was hoping we'd see one by now. Honestly, it's they did say there was going to be some more.
That's
Uh,
what I thought.
it's
Yeah.
not looking great so far, but we'll see. But Alo Alo is so much fun. Statusy is the fairy that you find that was left on the southern islands, and for whatever reason, her ether reserves did not dissipate when her summoner passed on. And of course, all of this stuff ends up tying back into the MSQ of Dawntrail and the Lalafell and their origins and the origins of Arcanima. And honestly, with Statusy, we deserve some more fairy representation after Celine was reduced to a pet glamour. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's a lore element that is deserving of some more acknowledgement. And God, the mechanics in the Statusy fight are so much fun. Nadia, have you done this thing?
I have, but I didn't know you could get her. Are you saying you can get her as a mount? Gun Fairy?
So yes, she is the mount that you get. I think for it must be completing all 12 routes through Alo
Oh,
Alo,
I
and
haven't done that yet.
she floats behind you and picks you up by the scruff of your neck and just flies you around.
I
It's
love
great.
that.
She's
I love
wonderful.
it when something picks you up and just like fly, like the hand that kind of just grabs you by your collar
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
takes you along.
She's a weird little gremlin. She's mechanically super fun, and she's got a gun, and I love her.
That's one thing I love about Final Fantasy 14 is the fairies are actually very dangerous. I mean, not
Yeah,
just the ones that have guns,
yeah.
but like the ones in
The
Ilmeg are
pixies, yeah,
basically children who don't know their own strength.
yeah. The pixie, especially on the first, the pixie lore is very traditional pixie stuff. That is,
Very Irish.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is some real Celtic pixie lore of, for the love of God, don't tell them your name, don't engage with them, don't follow them anywhere. Yeah,
Don't eat their food, for Christ's sake.
yeah. All right, what's your third pick?
Oh, I just had it in my head and it disappeared. Okay. Black Pegasus.
Mm.
I spent so much money
Oh, you
to
bought
get the
one.
Black Pegasus.
You just up and
I
bought one, huh?
I bought one because I was so fed up with um which dungeon is the Palace of the Dead
Yeah.
that I think because I would get to level 50 and then I'd wipe and I'd say this is stupid, goodbye. So I just like got 10 million gil, went to the market board and bought Black Pegasus, and frankly, it's awesome. I have a white Pegasus too, but the black one looks cooler.
I mean, yeah. Look, there is no guarantee you're going to get a black Pegasus from Palace of the Dead. It is rare as
No,
heck. Yeah, there's a reason it's a bajillion dollars all the time. Um,
and I gladly spent those bajillion dollars. It looks so sleek and cool.
yeah, it's a good one. What's its text? While uncommon, tales of Pegasi, black as ink, can be found amongst the folklore of countless tribes. One similarity, however, can be observed in nearly all the renditions, that those unworthy of the steed will have their very life essence sapped the moment they climb upon its back.
Yes,
Yeah,
I love me that Kelpie lore.
yeah, these things are great. I don't think I could justify. I think I like Palace of the Dead and Deep Dungeons a little bit more than you do. So it's one of those things where if I wanted it, I'd
You
just
could
be
grind for it.
I'd be Palace of the Dead in. Um, but
It's
yeah,
also a mid-dungeon boss. That's right. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Okay. My third and fourth may be interchangeable. Yeah, I'm gonna do Magitech Conveyor. Now this is the only one on my list that I don't actually have.
Hmm.
But I love this because the Magitech Conveyor, this is where there's 3 different versions of it. And these were rewards for the feast. But you had to rank. And they gave out, what is it, 100 per data center, I think, or per world. This was the feast. The PvP's old reward system was very
Hmm.
much like you fight in ranked matches and you get good or you don't get anything. um, they have
Nobody gets
since,
any substitute birthday gifts.
yeah, they have since switched over to more of a battle pass system, which I think is a bit more fair. And um, the thing I don't like is that as of this patch, you can now get old battle pass stuff for a few crystals. Like
Really?
it is now incredibly easy to get old battle pass rewards that used to be incredibly hard to get. And I will say it has lessened the worth of some of these rewards in my esteem, because the point of the battle pass stuff is you grind for it every patch and then you get a cool thing. And now they're releasing some of that old stuff, and it's very, very easy to get. And I'm a little bummed about it. It makes them less prestigious. I understand
That's
that
fair.
it still makes them available for people because once they rotate out, they were kind of gone forever. But I don't know. It's the thing is, I wish they did something to bring back some of these old feast rewards. It's how you could
Hmm.
get the Magna Rotor mounts. I think there was 3 different Magna Rotors. So if you want those freaks from FF6 as a mount,
They are very freaky, aren't they?
yeah, they're scary. The ones in 14
Are
are
they?
scary.
I wonder if they're based on in the Return to Oz, the Wheelers, the infamous terrible things that had
Maybe. Yeah, I could see
they
that.
had cars for bodies.
Yeah. Um, they are. You know what? Yeah, totally. That's gotta be it, right?
I mean, I think that movie made an impression on a lot of people
Yeah.
because it is a very freaky movie. I remember watching it. Well, you're in Canada. Did you ever have the Family Channel growing up?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So they showed that incessantly because
Wow.
it's one of
Really?
those things I guess they got for cheap. And
Huh.
yeah, it was just a freaky ass movie.
Yeah.
you,
Yeah.
you
It's
will
weird.
find a lot of retrospectives from people who are like, yeah, this thing made an impression on me.
Yeah.
There's even in Symphony of the Night a boss based on a character in that movie,
Huh.
the one who changed their heads out.
Oh yeah. Right. 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 Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. But yeah, Magna Rotors, Magitech conveyors. I don't know if can you picture the Magitech conveyor in your brain? Do you know what it looks like?
No.
Oh, I have a link in the notes. That's why I did that. I knew I did that for a
Oh,
reason.
okay.
uh,
Let me take a look.
so Magitech conveyors are it's the unit that Malice Sas Arvina is riding in the boss fight in Alamigo. Yeah,
Oh, right. This thing was pretty cool.
they're super cool, and there's 3 different colorways of it that all came out in different seasons of the feast. Um, but yeah, Magna Rotors, Magitech conveyors. Oh, the dreadnoughts, the
Hmm.
big hulking dudes from like FF7 and 13. It's specifically using the 13 model. That was the only way you could get those. There was another one. Anyway, there's like 4 or 5 unique models, and then all of those have 2 or 3 different colorways, and they were all exclusive rewards for PvP, ranked PvP. And
Right.
just rotate one of those back into the battle pass. I mean, I get that, give it a new colorway so that the people with the old ones can still feel good for having gotten those ones,
The original.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like people with the 1.0 mounts, the Gubu
The
and
legacy
the
chocobos.
the
Yeah.
Legacy Chocobo, stuff like that. There are ways to preserve the uniqueness of those older mounts, but bring back those models at least, because they're
Mhm.
so cool, and especially for people. I know people who like to role play a Garlean character, really like having Garlean stuff to role play with.
Yeah.
So I feel like
That makes sense.
it would serve that particular community. Magitech conveyor.
Just saying. Just saying, Square. If you're listening out there.
Yeah,
Hi.
swap those puppies in. You're already doing it with the battle pass stuff. Let's give us another chance at those feast mounts. All right, go for it.
Did you do two at once or you just did one?
That was just one.
Oh, okay. So I guess for my next one, I will mention I don't know if this is the proper model number, the GL2 motorcycle that you get from doing the island.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's it's a very cute little motorcycle. And I don't know if I'd ride a motorcycle, but maybe I would. I love to ride one in games, put it that way. I don't want to like wipe out, but yeah, that is a reward that you get. I forget how high you have to build up the level of your island, but I built mine up completely to its max. And at some point, I was able to buy the tractor,
Hmm.
the motorcycle, which I prefer, and the alligator. Shout out to the alligator. I love the alligator.
Yeah.
Just just a boy, just a boy, you know.
Yes,
So
the Garland GL2. That's 24,000
that's it.
seafarers calories, and that's Sanctuary rank 10, which isn't too bad to get to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, it was definitely one of the earlier rewards that I got. I think it was the first one, then you get the tractor, then you get the alligator, or vice versa. But
yeah.
one thing I gotta give to props for to Japanese developers, they love their motorcycles.
Oh
They
yeah,
just if there's a net opportunity, they'll drop in the most obscure ass motorcycle you can imagine, or just make up one of their own.
yeah. There's also the like. So yeah, there's a few different models. There's the Garland GL2. There's the Garland GL2T, which is the tractor one.
Right.
There's the Garland GL2IS, which I believe is the cash shop model that comes with the
Yeah, I don't have
sidecar.
that one.
Um, I love it's something, and I'm gonna bring it up. It's something I love about Sakura Wars. I love when fictional machinery is given real world style model numbers and like
Yeah, I
designations,
like that.
like they came from a place. There's a factory that makes these, and they have a nomenclature. They have a way that they name all their different models of products. um they do a good job of a lot of that. Oh, even in Valkyria Chronicles, I feel like that's something that
Hmm.
Valkyria Chronicles
Yes,
carried over from Sakura
so good at
Wars.
that.
Is there are like both Sakura Wars and Valkyria Chronicles have this was made by this manufacturer, and this is the model number so and so from this line of weaponry. Uh,
It might be the same with Trails of like I feel like
oh yeah,
I know Trails of Cold Steel has like manufacturing companies that do weapons and
sure,
whatnot.
yeah, I bet.
And of course, what do you call it? The World Ends with You. I always just kind of like the way everything
Oh,
felt. Like obviously no
all
vehicles, but like
the
thinking about like
fashion
just the way
lines.
things. Yeah,
Yeah, and being able to tell like what labels these in-game fashion lines sort of replicate and
exactly.
the styles they go
Yeah,
for. Ooh, I love. Oh, I
I love that kind of attention to detail. And I'm not like a
yeah.
big like car person, but if I like a car, I like a car. If I like a motorcycle, I like a motorcycle. I don't have my
I'm
license, it doesn't matter.
I'm as much of a no. I'm more of a fashion person than I am a car person, but I am a more than all of those things, I'm an understanding a through line person. I like I like I like seeing the arc of a manufacturer or a designer. A designer more even more so than a manufacturer. But in this case,
Right.
these are intrinsically linked. But I love seeing the thought process of a line of things and their evolution. So, yeah. No, I'm into
Same.
these motorcycles. I can't remember what the GL stands for. What is the L? Because it sounds like that's very Mercedes naming convention.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's out there somewhere. Good pick. I love it. I love those bikes.
Thank you.
Uh, Number 4 for me, it's got to be my boy Demi Ozma. So this is where I will say this is the ultimate carrot and stick situation for me, because I was already really enjoying Eureka. As I was making progress through Eureka, I understood that there was something called the Baldessian Arsenal. However, I did not think Baldessian Arsenal was for me. I thought, that's, what is it, 58 man or 72 man? Anyway,
Jeez.
I thought, that's too much. I don't want to have to coordinate that. Not only do I have to put up with mechanics that I might not understand, Baldessian Arsenal, if you get kicked out of Baldessian Arsenal, you are removed from the instance. You don't get to participate anymore, and the rest of the party has to carry on without you. It is punishing. Mechanically, it's maybe extreme level stuff, but the stress comes from the fact that people can't just res anyone willy-nilly. You have very limited resources when it comes to resurrection. You can get kicked out. You are trying to manage all of your logograms and the abilities that you've set, your loadout of very specific abilities. It's intense. It's super duper fun. But I did not think it was for me. And then I realized, well, I've made it all the way to Hydados, and the Baldessian Arsenal's just over there. I might as well look at what goes into
May as
it.
well. Just a peek.
And sure enough, over the course of a couple days, I hopped on a Discord and joined a party that was like part people who had already cleared it, and then part people that they were specifically bringing through to get their clear. And the good thing about Demi Ozma is that you don't have to hope it drops. You don't have to roll for it. It's just, once you've completed Baldessian Arsenal, you get the title, you get your Demi Ozma. You did a good job. There's other stuff that you can farm there. But this was early on in lockdown. I was running this. And like, the planning that goes into a Baldessian Arsenal run is many, many days. It's a lot of effort.
Sounds like almost a World of Warcraft level sort of campaign.
I think that's what some people would compare it to. Yeah. We got through all the early fights. It's where you get your Raiden fight. It's where you get your Absolute Virtue fight, which I also knew I really, really, really wanted to do, because Absolute Virtue as a concept from 11, I think, is fantastic and brilliant, and just the real world lore behind it, and it being the impossible boss that took years and years and years.
Right.
And still maybe no one's actually done it right, kind of thing. But we got there. Everyone kind of camps out in the room before the Demi Ozma fight, and I got kicked out of the game.
Oof.
it all shut down,
Oh no.
and I
Oh
was
no.
panicking. I even
Right in
tried.
time.
I tried responding on the Discord, be like, "Hey, I don't know what happened. I'll be back in as soon as I can." Computer was not working. Ran downstairs. My roommate was having difficulty, I guess, with Netflix or something, and decided to restart the router
Oh no.
without letting me know.
Without let it telling you.
Yeah. Um, so eventually, it took a long time, but I got back in basically just as
Oh
they were
good.
about to count down because they had been waiting for me. They're like,
Oof.
we'll give this guy 5 minutes or whatever, and if he's not back before then, we'll start the fight. Managed to get
Yeah.
back in, managed to get in the fight, managed to survive, not get caught in a black hole and ejected from the instance. Survived the whole darn thing. Got my mount. Felt incredible. That kind
Is the
of
roommate still alive? As
yes, roommate is still
architect
alive.
box.
Um, I don't think I even sounded that mad when I talked to her.
Just
Um,
very disappointed.
yes, yeah. And it's still one of my favorite mounts.
It's
Obviously,
really cool.
I'm an FF9 head. I think Ozma is a great super boss. The mount itself looks fantastic. The fact that it's a weird cube when it flies and a weird triangle when it swims is fun. It's one of the few mounts that has a different form for flying and for swimming.
Yeah.
Um, it's cool. It's one of my faves. And it's one of those ones that is absolutely a badge of honor. It is
Right.
when I fly around on that thing, I think, gosh darn it, this may not be the most lore appropriate thing to be doing, but damn it, I earned this, and I feel
It's just one of those mounts where it goes over lore because it's so cool. You have to
yeah,
show it off.
yeah, it
I understand.
transcends. All right,
It transcends.
give me your final pick.
My final pick is very simple, but I still love it. Is I can't even remember what year it was a reward, but it was one of the Christmases we got the reindeer. And I just love this fucking reindeer. It's like everyone has it, oh, Christmas time, whatever, and they get rid of it. I'm like, I just can't get rid of it. Like, you have the action, it like sprays gifts everywhere. Like, what's not to love? I whenever I with someone and like let's say you kind of drop in on a fate and there's people there and blah blah blah, and you're doing the fate and you finish. I get on my reindeer, I do a little explosion of gifts, and I fly away. It's really nice. That was 2023. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that one's not even that old. That's
No,
wow. Yeah, the
I love
reindeer.
getting mounts for events. Like those are like the top prizes.
Sure. Yeah, the Starlight Steed.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. 2022.
Was it 2022? Chat
Yeah.
is saying 23.
Well, chat's wrong.
You hear that, chat?
You're wrong. That makes you a bad person. Yes.
Makes you-
Summon forth your Starlight Steed, which, despite being an illusion, can bring very real joy to one and all. The reindeer Blitzen, visiting from Sharlayan, gifted you this rideable glamour as a show of gratitude for your kind aid. From the creature itself to the presents, all is recreated in such impressive detail that it could only be considered a Starlight miracle.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good mount. I like reindeer. I think reindeer are neat animals.
Yeah, totally. Uh, am I right? Reindeer and caribou are the same thing. They're just different names for the same animal. Is that true?
I'm not 100% sure, but they both kind of have those forward-facing antlers, so it feels like they might be from the same family. It beats the snowman. Yeah, I have to admit, I don't really take my snowman out for a walk very often.
Caribou and reindeer are the same species and share the same scientific name, Rangifer tarandus. Caribou are
What
what
do you
the
know?
species is called in North America. Interesting.
They're on our quarter.
Yeah. That feels like Is that maybe a fact I learned from Metal Gear?
It does feel like one of those video game facts.
Yeah, I feel like maybe
Colonel, did you know?
no, because
Snake, why are you
Snake
telling me this?
at the end of MGS, Snake rides off and mentions the caribou coming back. It's a sign of spring
Right.
in Alaska.
Yeah.
Does he mention somewhere that they're actually the same thing as a reindeer? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe chat will tell me, and they'll be wrong.
You'll be wrong again.
Great. Reindeer's fun. What a fun pick.
Yeah.
Nice and
Thank you.
simple. Mine. This is perfect. This is the mount that is the center of the Venn diagram for me of being able to justify as something your character would in fact have earned for themselves, lore-wise and backstory-wise. It is the perfect amount of difficulty to get, and we haven't mentioned these a ton, but the extreme mounts that you get for finishing extreme trials,
Right.
that can possibly drop. So I like them. I think they're fine. However, this is where what you were mentioning before comes into play, where after a patch or two or an expansion or two, they become incredibly easy to get.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to farm them while the content is new, then it's a big ol' slog. I don't understand the people who farm these mounts while they are current. Maybe if you want to farm for them an expansion later, whatever. There's just the half-life on how impressive those mounts are diminishes. It is basically every expansion, you know? And then as item level increases and increases, the impressiveness of having those mounts becomes nothing. No one cares if you have Kieran or any of the horses or any of the.
Don't toss it out, Kieran. I love my Kieran.
Well, yes,
I love Kieran.
but there's nothing.
There's nothing impressive about it.
There's nothing impressive
Like,
about that anymore. They're still
Right.
cool mounts, but like we were saying, part of what makes a mount special is how
having it
special it is.
before everyone else.
Yeah, or
Catches up.
even whether or not everyone else can catch up. There are just people who are never going to do Baldessian Arsenal, but Baldessian Arsenal
course.
never gets easier. You can't unsync Baldessian Arsenal. You can
Right.
unsync all of these extreme trials. So the perfect combination of farming stuff, lore appropriateness, difficulty that never diminishes, and just being cool is the Alicleal. This is my motorcycle of choice. This is Fran and Balfir's motorcycle of choice.
Oh,
And
that's
if it
how you
has,
know it's the best one.
Yes, if it has their seal of approval, who am I to dispute that? The Alicleal you get from Save the Queen. This is a massive undertaking. This requires getting every single field note in Bosnia and Delibrum Reginae and Castrum Lacus Latore and Zadnor and the Dalriada. There are, first of all of these field notes are short stories written by Yasumi Matsuno. So
Nice.
there is,
So you know they're great.
Yeah, I think there's 50 field notes in total, and they all have fantastic. They give so much backstory. The joke for a very long time was we know more about some of these one-off NPCs in Bosnia than we do the actual Scions. Because Matsuno just wrote a ton of great stuff for all of these characters. You got to get them all. And some of those drops are incredibly, incredibly rare. I ran the Dalriada 53 times before
Wow. My
before
gracious.
the note I needed dropped. Now, some of these have alternate methods for getting these notes. You can hope for a drop in some of these instances, like Castrum Lacus Latore or excuse me, or the Dalriada, or for the rarest ones, you can also try mastering the duels with characters that show up. We've talked about these before. If you're a fan of Bosnia, you know exactly how intense these duels are and the stakes behind them and the intensity. Duels, when you get a duel, it is nerve-wracking because you have taken that duel from someone else who maybe also wants to do that duel. So you better do a damn good job, because if the player wins the duel, then everyone around gets a buff. So learning the duels is tough. You got to watch other people master them. Now, I have a couple duels under my belt, but for the field notes that I really, really wanted, I just farmed. Because, like Arctech Fox mentioned, I was also working on resistance weapons at the time. I think the relic weapons, I mean, look, the Alicleal feeds into everything that I loved the most about FF14 in this era. And hopefully, Occult Crescent will carry the torch. But
yes,
it just, Alicleal felt like the perfect reward for me for all the stuff I wanted to do and the kind of lore that gets me excited. It's perfect. Also, the fact that I can drive it and it's a 2-seater and my wife can sit in the back. I don't know. I'm one of those guys who, both in video games and in the real world, when I'm driving a car and my wife is in the passenger seat, I just feel like $1 million. I just like taking her out for drives. I love her so much.
Aw, wife guy.
I'm a bit of a wife guy. And I'm also a bit of a wife guy in FF14. So it's just the best. The fact that it is also, look, Balthier's a wife guy. And
basically.
and he's got Fran, so he's doing something
doing all
right
for himself.
Yeah. Best mount. It will always be my go-to. It is my muscle memory hotbar mount that I always want to drive, and it's a reasonable thing. It's a modest looking mount compared to some of the other spectacular stuff out there, but
yeah, I like the modest stuff more.
Yeah, it fits, it works, it looks good, it's practical, it's cool, and it gives me wife guy cred.
Good stuff.
What else could I possibly want? So those are our 5 picks for our favorite. That officially gives us the Sharlayan Dropouts approved top 10 mounts of all time. But in the pursuit of mounts, it is for people who like to collect mounts, there's always got to be something else. What is on the horizon for you, Nadia? What is something that isn't on your list that is a mount that you would like to work towards? What's on your to-do list?
Well, I don't know how they're pronounced in their native Welsh, but the Greeper, the little dragon guys.
Yeah.
I really need to get them, and I need to get the big ass 4-winged jet dragon that.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I know it's stuff that's easier to get now because you just run it unsynced, it's still cool. It's still damn cool.
Totally. Yeah. Do you?
That's this one.
I mean, I'm just saying. The Axe of the Blood God Discord community would happily help you farm for those mounts.
Oh, I know. I'm definitely trying to work up a time to think. Is it one of those things you just kind of poke your head in the Discord and say, "Hey, everyone, who wants to help me grind extremes?"
Yeah, pop in. Especially if they're just doing unsynced old extremes. Yeah, lots of people want those mounts. I still have to get all my gwibs.
Gwibs. I like that. Yeah, so
Um,
that's one I want because it's really cool.
yeah, yeah, like I say, you get diminishing returns on how cool those extreme mounts can be, but when some have looks that really hit, they're evergreen. There's some
They are.
lanners and especially some lynxes that I think just look good. Outside of
I
being
like the
like,
lynxes. Yeah,
yeah, outside of being a symbol of like I did this really hard thing, I think there are some. If you're not trying to be flashy and show off, there are some that just look good, have good color
exactly.
schemes.
Sometimes just like the color scheme. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right.
yeah. Um, I've got a few, and here's one. We've talked about what we like in mounts. Here's something I don't like in
Oh,
mounts. What I don't mind is cash shop mounts. I get it. It's okay.
right.
We look. Final Fantasy XIV, if you're listening to the YouTube thumbnails, is dying. Uh, it's
Dead game, everyone.
it's a dead game. Poor little Square Enix has to make money somehow. No one's playing Final Fantasy XIV, so they can't get that subscription money. They got to make it
Yeah.
somehow. I get it. Cash Shop it's fine. I don't hate it.
No, neither do I.
However, when they put a mount on the Cash Shop that has a perfectly reasonable in-game way of acquiring them that would make perfect
Ah,
sense and would work perfectly, that's when I get my hackles up. And that's why I have
mhm.
to bring up one that at this point in time I have not purchased from the Cash Shop, but the Shadow Wolf.
Shadow Wolf. Those aren't the ones that. No, I'm thinking of the lunar chemois.
Shadow
This is different, right?
Wolf. Shadow Wolf is the wolf-like form of one of my favorite side characters. Um,
Ah,
so this was a boss in Eden, and she is. I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything for people who haven't done it, but also it's Shadowbringers stuff. Basically, do all your Shadowbringers role quests because those have really, really important story stuff for.
yeah.
Excuse me. Ooh, I need some water. I couldn't find my usual water bottle, so I have brought out my commemorative Link's Awakening Slurpee cup from 7-Eleven.
That's very cute.
It's too big. It's comically big. Excuse me for one moment. My voice is toast, and it's gonna be toast. Um, Silva is one of my favorite characters. She is an Elysian woman who is the forgotten member of the Warriors of Darkness, basically.
Right.
And she has a fantastic storyline that ties into the Warring Triad. It's all connected, man. But you would think that a perfectly reasonable way to get this mount would be to finish the role quest line from Shadowbringers, because that's not a simple ask. Getting through all of the role
Hmm.
quests and then following that, it unlocks an extra storyline that has a bunch of stuff to do in it. That would be the perfect reward. Or even as an Eden Savage reward, I'd accept that. But it
Yeah.
seems perfect, absolutely perfect, for doing all of the work to finish that Shadowbringers role quest. And they just put it on the Cash Shop. Come on.
Yeah. No, I see where you're coming from. You're right.
It's silly. What else? What else you want?
Um, I can't pronounce it, but the big Bahamut that carries you around on a couch.
Apocryphal Bahamut? Apocryphal.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Apocryphal Bahamut.
Yeah.
Uh, I just love that Amano style Bahamut.
Mm.
Like, oh, that's classic right there, man.
Well, yeah. The Amano, as interpreted by Shibuya and her pixel art team on
Mm-hmm.
Who was oh, the name escapes me, and I'll feel bad about not remembering who did enemy pixel art in FF4. But yes, yeah, that Amano style as interpreted into pixel art and then reborn in 3D
It has
once again.
polygonal art.
Yeah, it's
And
been transposed so many times over. It's very fun.
yeah, it's you have to get all the linkses to get that one, and that is I'm a long way off from that so far.
Well, that's
And but it's just being carried around on a chair by a Bahamut,
yeah,
and he's about to mega nuke you.
yeah. That's the Discord gang just recently finished off their. They were calling it,
Oh, sweet.
what was it? Bahamut Quest. I want to kill this guy until I get a mount. I think is the
I
official
want to kill this
title
guy
of
till
the
he gives me a
gathering.
cat.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Head on over to the Discord, and you can see everyone's photos of them and their beautiful Bahamuts.
The Bahamuts, the mini Bahamuts.
Yeah. I've talked about the Magitech conveyors. I wanted them to bring those back. Also, Morbol. That's something we need to hop back into. Discord crew is Axe of the Blued God. Got to keep our Blue Mage nights going. That would be fun, because the Morbol mount is very, very tough to get. If you don't know, Blue Mage only party, no echo, synced, and you have to finish off Twintania, Nail, and Bahamut Prime from Binding Coil, as well as the 3 final bosses from the Alexander turns.
That is a lot of work
Yes.
for a pack of blue mages.
Yes. And Savage. So,
Yeah.
so that's a lot. That's tough.
Yeah.
But it's very, very fun. As well as the most recent one that I really want to work towards, and again, I just wish I had the time for it, is the Shroud of Darkness from Cloud of Darkness Chaotic.
Yes.
We know me. I'm a big Cloud of Darkness fan.
Do we?
Always have been. When she showed up in Dissidia looking the way she did, I thought, that's my gal right there. that's a evil hot lady. And also, FF3 on DS is kind of technically the first Final Fantasy I've ever beat. It has a very special place in my heart. And the Shroud of Darkness takes your character model and puts them in the position, in that weird, like, upside down position that the Cloud of Darkness is in her combat sprite from FF3. Also, the pose she takes in Dissidia when you use her, or no, it's the pose she does in Dissidia if you are playing Onion Knight and use your EX attack against specifically the Cloud of Darkness. She takes on that pose. It's all very...
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's very, very cute. But yeah, it's an iconic pose for an iconic boss. I think it's a brilliant mount. I think it looks kind of stupid, and it flies in the face of what I like about simple, like, modest, in-world, making sense kinds of mounts. But
they're funny. That sounds funny as hell. I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny. I like
Sometimes
it.
a mount is funny.
Sometimes it's okay if a mount is just funny. That's what I said when I did all of my Yokai Watch farming and got my Jibanyan couch.
Oh, you got the couch. Oh, the infamous erotic couch. Yeah.
You also have the Garo mounts on here.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the Garo mounts. They look so cool.
Yeah, they're super cool. 3 big fancy horses.
They look. They remind me. Remember, like He-Man, you had Stridor and whatever the hell the other horse was named. My brother had the evil horse, but Garo is all PvP, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still on? Like, is it still stuff you could get?
Yep. these are pretty straightforward though. It's you'll
Yeah,
do a bit of crystalline conflict, or do your frontline dailies or whatever, and you'll have those in no time. They're very
it's been a
cool.
long time since I've done Frontlines. Got to get back into that.
Yeah, well, it's changed a lot. So before you get back into that, go to the Wolf's
I better
Den
read.
and make sure your hotbar is anything, because I think after
Here,
after one
Hotbar
of
actually works.
after one of the updates, I remember just hopping into roulette and realizing that the update completely resets your entire hotbar. So I just didn't have anything on it,
Boy, oh boy, oh
for
boy.
PvP actions. But
I would also, I didn't put it on the list, but I would love to get the Rathalos. I keep wanting to farm them
oh
for the
yeah,
Rathalos.
super easy farm. That's a great one. That's an easy one to get to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
figured. That's one I would probably prioritize to get because I love Monster Hunter. I love
Yeah.
Rathalos.
Yeah, I need a few more runs of that too. I'd gladly finish that off.
Nice.
Um so those are mounts we want that do exist. But what about mounts we want that don't exist? What would you like to see in the future? What are if you could go to Square Enix, if you could walk up to Yoshi P's door and say, "Here's $5, make me a mount." What
I,
what would you tell the design team to create? What would you like to see?
uh, I'll bump it up to a 10 if you give me you wrote down on the list here like kind of job specific amounts the way that we got I think
Mm.
it was the unicorn for healer for white
Yes.
mage.
So yeah, it's something that they used to do, and is sort of the
Yeah,
crux of what I would like to see happen again, is incentive mounts, because
right.
there was a time where a lot of people were maybe comfortable playing DPS and not anything else. So one of the
Right.
things they did to encourage more people to play tank is, again, put a talk, talking about He-Man mounts. The tank specific
Right.
mounts are just, they are battle cats, man.
They're the
These are
battle cast, right?
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been wanting to get those too someday. But I don't have it. I don't think I have that tank achievement.
Yeah, you get there's two variations. So the thing that kind of bugs me is they introduced the first versions back in 2.2. So you get your lion, or your no, it wouldn't be have been panther yet. But anyway, bear is warrior, lion is paladin, etc. They have these big
Right.
animals that are for tanks. Specifically, each kind of tank gets a very specific animal. Then in Stormblood, they added an extra one that is an armored version of that. If you get even further in this achievement, and these are usually you just have to tank high level stuff. So extreme
Yeah.
fights or raids or whatever, you get a point and you work towards this achievement to get these tank mounts. And they were a great incentive. It's helped me decide what tanks I want to play, and how much I want to play them, kind of thing. But then after 4.0, I wonder if it worked well enough and they don't need incentive beyond
Mm,
what is already there for people to play tanks. I think they've maybe added enough that imbalance isn't there. But I would still like, give
yeah.
me give me give me another achievement that's, twice as long, that gets even a different colored version of those mounts or something. I think
Yeah.
they match the personality of the jobs that they are assigned to so well that, I don't know, keep it going. It's been a while since Stormblood. We could use another tank incentive mount.
Yeah, I
Um,
think not talking about incentive here because I guess they don't really need that many more DPS incentives, but
mm.
if I could, I would say for the Dragoon, make a mount like Wyvern, but in the color of say Dark Bahamut from Final Fantasy IV on the Lunar Underground.
Oh yeah,
Kind of has that brown and red look to him, or you could do Lunar Bahamut, who's like kind of gray and pink or something.
yeah,
So either of those would be really cool, but that
yeah.
would be like a great Dragoon incentive because it makes a lot of sense story wise.
Well, yeah, yeah. Like you say, tough to. Don't think we need to incentivize more Dragoon players,
Or
but
Dragoons to die on the
yeah,
floor.
yeah. I also, like you say, maybe we don't need this incentive as much, but they did the unicorn for White Mage. Why
I
not
have it.
keep that going a little bit for all of the
There's no
healers
reason, yeah,
in
not
the
to give
same way? Yeah.
job-specific mounts. It's
In,
fun.
in the same way they did it for the tanks, assign stuff for the healing classes. White Mage could have some more unicorn variants. I mean, sure, give the next unicorn armor, whatever. I don't care. I was trying to think of like Scholar in the same way that you have spectral statusy as a fairy just hauling you around. Again, Celine has nothing to do besides being a glamour for your pet. Unlock Eos, Celine, and even Seraph as mounts that will haul your Scholar around by the scruff of their neck.
That's fun. They should do that.
Yeah, I feel like Astrologian is a job that does use the gravity spell, so you could maybe do something. Let them ride around on a little planet or whatever, or a little,
Yeah.
let them manipulate gravity around them and have a little globe to sit on, kind of like an Ozma.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, Sage.
Sit in the middle of a black hole.
Yeah, Sage. Let them surf on their little Newliths. Let them, do something cute.
Their
with
little
that.
their little gun thingies.
Yeah, if they're manipulating these things, if they're oh my gosh, the Gundam term has eluded me.
Kat told it to me once. I completely forgot about it. Bullet something?
No, it's on the tip of my brain. This is a whatever. If I stop thinking about it, I'll remember it.
Of course, that's how it works.
Like I mentioned, the Morbol with Blue Mage. Much like tanks, it has also been a very, very, very long time since we have assigned new mounts to Blue Mage achievements. This was all the way back in Stormblood. Since we've had the 2 Blue Mage level cap increases since then, and achievements to go with the raids and the extreme trials, we've added titles, but we have not added some more mounts. I would love, even if it's just variants of Morbols. We have so many variants of Morbols in 14. We've got the
bigger Morbol.
The Purbles.
Morbol but purple.
Yeah,
yes.
Give us the Morbol but purple.
I love purple Morbol idea.
We have the ones from Thavnair. The Adisfata, I think is what they're called. But they're cool. They've got a great color scheme, and their lore is weird and cool. And then finish it off with something like Copycat Cassie. Give us a Morbol Marquis mount. They're horrible, monstrous. They're just disgusting piles of Morbol mouths and tentacles, and I love them. And I would love to have a mount that is that.
That would be a really terrifying mount. Like, I have a cute little Chocobo. I have a cute little horse.
I've got an Eldritch Horror that stinks.
Hi, children.
Yeah. And the last one I want to bring up is if Blue Mage has a specific mount, that means Beastmaster has to get a specific mount. Now, this also, of course, ties into Bosnian lore, because that's where the Beastmaster stuff comes from. I'm still kind of maybe hoping that the Beastmaster job quest stuff has something to do with our Beastmasters from Bosnia. That's Lion and Pagaga are sort of our 2 main figures. We know they did both escape with their lives and have sort of disappeared into nothingness. I know it would be too much to ask for Beastmaster to be locked behind Bosnia. That might
that'd be a lot.
That might be too much for some people. I think it's a great idea. Make people work
for
these jobs.
Of course you do.
But these two Beastmasters, Lion has two freaks, Dawon and Dawon the Younger or the Elder. They are two weird monsters. I linked them in the notes, but they're freaks, and they're big, weird griffin things. I don't even remember what sort of genus they are from. I don't know where you would where they fall in the bestiary, but they're very, very cool, and they are.
I like them.
Yeah, I think making one of those guys the Beastmaster mount would kind of work.
It's a chicken lion.
Yeah, weird chicken lion. And
like
then Pagaga, who is our Lalafellan Beastmaster, Pagaga Votyash. What's her honorific? What's her Garlean honorific? I can't remember. But she has two uniquely patterned blue griffins named Berta and Obda. And
I think I've seen those blue griffins in Elpis.
Possibly.
If I'm thinking, because they were gorgeous. I was actually thinking, oh man, I'd love to have blue griffins.
Maybe. But they are also, because this is Matsuno, Berta and Obda are two griffins from Tactics Ogre.
Right.
And Pagaga, in her backstory, she inherits them from the Tactics Ogre character who had those griffins and passed them on to her. So,
beauty.
Some unique colored griffins or one of Lion's big freaks would be fun. I just think Beastmaster, you deserve some mounts.
I agree. I hope we see some.
Yeah. I think I like the Griffin options that we have already too. I think I rode those a lot because at the time they were kind of like, it's not exactly Chocobo, but you're not being too flashy. You're not trying to show off.
Yeah,
too
like
much.
I have the white Griffin, the true Griffin.
Yeah.
And that takes a little time to get. You have to do all the quests for I forget the name of the tribe, but the Snake Woman.
Oh yeah, right. The Ananta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, those are my picks. Look, I want to be either picked up by the scruff of the neck by a fairy, or I want our limited jobs to be treated well and given some proper incentives.
That's fair. I think both are fair asks.
Right? That's what I think too. And the fact that Yoshida keeps ignoring me is actually honestly really rude. I'm not asking
very
for
offensive.
too much. Yeah, it's incredibly rude. Oh, that's it. Unless you have anything else you want to say about mounts, Nadia.
No, it's been a long day for me. I had to go to the dentist and get a cap done, so
All right.
I'm feeling old.
I have no voice from a busy couple days, and I'm about to go play tennis on my bad knees. So I also feel old.
Idea.
Yeah, I think that's it for this episode of Axe of the Blood God. Thank you all so much for hanging out in chat. Thanks for being here for the stream. We try to do the streams every Monday around 11 a.m. Pacific. Of course, this is subject to change, as it obviously was today. But thank you, everyone, for showing up. Please come check out the live streams. If the schedule is changing, we will let you know over on the Discord. And then the episode goes up on your podcatchers of choice every Wednesday, or every other Wednesday, because the show is every other week. I don't know if I mentioned that. You're listening to Sharlayan Dropouts, by the way. Did I mention that? I'm Archon Victor Hunter. This is Archon Nadia Oxford. I don't know if I mentioned that.
How you doing?
Everything's falling apart. Yes, every other week here on Twitch or on your podcatchers. That's free with ads on the specific Sharlayan Dropouts feed. Or if you want to listen without ads, It's a mere $5 over at patreon.com/bloodgodpod, and then you'll get those ad-free episodes on the usual Acts of the Blood God feed.
And you get the newsletter at $5.
And you get the newsletter at $5. You get Acts of the Blood God ad-free at $5. You get you've surpassed, you're 5 times more important than the people who only gave $1 to get over on the Discord. They're
Yes, that's
dirt.
exactly how it works.
They are trash to me. If you
know
paid
your names.
$5 and you're on the Discord, you are a god. That's it for this episode of Sharlayan Dropouts. Anything else you want to plug, Nadia? Or
no, just come on over and support us at patreon.com/bloodgodpod. We love you all, whether you pay us or not.
Speak for yourself. All right, that's it for Sharlayan Dropouts. See you in 2 weeks. And as always, we do not know. But just be fucking cool about it for once in your life. Bye, everybody. I love you.